subscribed to this channel or are visiting this channel, I thought I would talk you out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Third World War will not be presented tonight as scheduled so that we may bring you the following live presentation. The Third World War will be rescheduled for a later date. But now, here's... This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Check any railway show, check any railway club, check any layout, check your own house. You'll find one of us somewhere. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The topic, language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter is not appropriate for anyone, much less children under the age of 16. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. Any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the 3 rules for model train layouts and pretty much anything. It's your layout, do what you want as you want. Do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you directly what they should do. Do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel or anyone else's channel. Thank you for your cooperation. Hey, happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully I'm coming through. Let me see whom we got here today. We have got Chris Hales. How are you, sir? Jean Ricard, nice to see you. Missed you last week. Roy, yes, I'm here. Hopefully I'm coming through. Andrew of the 156 variety. Dwight Curley. Simon, nice to have you here. Although it looks like I'm having some lag here. Carl, thank you for stopping in. Leslie, Tom Couples. And hello, Ethan, welcome in. Nice to have you. I hope you're well, sir. Kiwi Dave, nice to have you here. And let's see. Hi. Hello to Hi. And Joseph Agliato, nice to have you here. And all the Knights of the Rhomboid table. Speaking of which, I saw Ethan is not knighted. We need to knight Ethan. I now declare you Knight of the Rhomboid table. Going through. Tom Couples is here. And more will be coming in soon. At least I can hope. Okay. If I missed you, I apologize. I'll let you go. I'm looking at my YouTube, and it looks like I'm getting a little mixed lagging. Let me know if that's true or not. Looking on the other computer, it's not showing up. So, anyhow, yeah. only a little bit of, outright humor there. Really, the Goliath scene was it. But, this scene is, we're dealing with the change in Smokey. And, this was a scene that sets up what's going to happen to Smokey through the rest of this plot. Because we really are running a lot of plots together. I spent most of November unable to figure out which. I had 3 plots: the opium plot, the war plot, which still will factor into a bigger plot that carries into season 3, and the Kahat storyline. And I decided to blend them all into one, because originally the Reverend Saltine was going to be the opium guy, and I elected not to go there. And so I just been blending them, which meant a little more exposition, because trying to force so many ideas together. So everybody's still saying hello, hello. All right, good. Things are looking good. Just watching my YouTube screen, it was looking a little glitchy. So so especially that opening scene. Now the funny thing is, there's actually I wound up not filming it. I had a 8 or 9 minute scene, a very serious scene between Matt and Smokey there, where Smokey visits Matt in the prison, and I wound up taking those 9 minutes and cutting it down to about the 2.5 to 3 minutes you see there. There was a lot more very serious talk, and I decided, all right, I've had a lot of talking exposition. Let's just catch the 2 or 3 high points that Matt says to Smokey and put that in that scene. Just the basics of where Matt is trying to force Smokey. Matt recognizes what's going on. And of course, we know Matt is the honest guy. We know Lil doesn't lie. And Smokey is following a bad man. And so this is where the seeds start to turn again. Oh, sorry to hear about that. Sorry to hear about that, Andrew. On the flip side, I also had this scene with Goliath, which was meant to follow that, but I decided to put this Kahat scene in the middle. What I did was the next couple of scenes, or what would have been 3 scenes, I cut them down to 2 scenes, but I spliced them into each other rather than having this one Kahat scene. There's part of the Kahat scene here, there's part of the Kahat scene in the next episode, and the bit with, I had to leave a cliffhanger. The itchy crotch on fire, which there is one heck of a pun right there. The itchy crotch is on fire, which is the name of the episode where that gets dealt with. But yes, we left a little cliffhanger there where Smokey's mom and dad own the itchy crotch and it's on fire. And what happens to it, you'll have to wait. Although, if I can pull the joke off, it's going to be awesome. How do you know that Matt Clarke is honest? Because I'm the creator, and I say he's honest. Are you now casting aspersions on Matt Clarke? And now are you going to start casting aspersions on our goddess of goodness, Lil? Are you going to start questioning Lil's integrity? That's terrible genre card. First you complain about trains run the wrong way. Now you're tearing down my hero, Matt Clarke. And obviously you'll start going after Lil now. And I'll let Joyce know too. All right, so yeah, I won't talk too much about the video I posted. A lot of things were going on, and I know we all sit there and say, hey, ignore negative stuff, and 90% of the time, 99% of the time I do, but it just kind of was a wall of fire. A lot of things hit me at the same time, and I'm the type of person, I eventually got to say something back. I will bite my tongue and not say anything. But eventually I'll just kind of throw some stuff out there, if anything, to just let other people know, hey, I've already heard the crap, now just let me move on. You know, because there's a lot of things that are that were involved in that, but it helps me. Instead of sitting here stewing it, I make a 40-minute video and say blah blah blah, and then it gets it out of my system. And rather than kind of growling at Joyce or stewing about it, I get it out of my system and I can move on. And so that's what it's about. I'll probably take it down in a couple of days or two. You have a weakness for the fair sex. Well, hello, Ollie. Welcome in. Depending on, you know, defining the weaker sex, I mean, I think that's true. And Joyce will weaken anybody. There's nothing pretentious about Joyce. Joyce is a one-of-a-kind person. Everybody, you know, I mean, I won't say, hey, my wife is better than your wife. I mean, how pathetic an argument is there? But Joyce is a very unique and special individual. And, you know, thank God tranquilizer darts worked. And when she finally agreed to come out of the cell, she was quite agreeable to stay married to me. So, you know, it worked out. Hey, Jerry, the class 812, which I guess is a Caledonian. My problem is, see, the 812 is the ICE-4. When I see your name, Jerry, the 812, that is the Baureihe, the BR number, the model number for the ICE-4, the German class ICE-4. It is the class 412/812. But anyhow, so speaking of which, let's show you what we got today, and let's get some trains running very quickly, and then we can babble about whatever I'm going to babble about. Where is that picture? 11 lane, there we go. So on the layout today, the Railjet is back. Some of you have mentioned the Railjet hasn't been around in a while. Well, he's had 3 weeks off, so he's ready to run again. So we got the Railjet. And I got out the ICE too. I've realized that since I had the big celebration that all my ICEs were back, I haven't run them. So today it's the ICE2 and maybe next week the ICE1. So we've got the ICE2 is running. Except where he derailed for a second. Sorry about that. Hey, you, what's up with that? All right, let's not do that again. Now, get rolling, dude. Get rolling. And I just can't stop running this 218. So I changed the cars he's running with. I did change the cars he's running with, but I keep running them. I'm liking this guy too much to stop running him. I'm really enjoying this guy. Hey, Stefan is here. Hey there. Greetings to Norway. Skull. And let's see. Anybody else come in that I missed? And we've got the Pico side running first because I wanted to have that, the Meriklin side, the white side with the red stripe, go straight into the passenger cars it's pulling. And then we've got the Metronome is running, although he was very problematic yesterday in test running, and I finally think I've straightened him out, but I won't know for sure until I get through today's show. And then instead of running my little diesel units, I'm running my old Regio-Bahn in the background with my Class 143 locomotive, because I haven't run the Class 143 locomotive in a while. So there's really no theme today. So, okay, so how is everybody doing outside on your end? Hope everybody's well. or at least on the road to recovery in 156 Andrews Case. Nice to have you all here on a Friday. It's been another crazy week at work. We are suffering from a prankster at work, not in a good way. We've had somebody, and the police have been tracing it. They finally found yesterday where it's coming from, but somebody's been phoning in, basically calling up the school and saying, I'm coming down there, I'm going to start shooting everybody, just to force us to go into security lockdown mode. And it was every day this week until today. But because it's happened 4 days this week, half the kids didn't come to school because any excuse, Mom, Dad, somebody's starting to shoot up the school, so I don't want to go to school today. Even though everybody knows it's a fake. The kids know it's a fake. But any excuse to not go to school. And of course, it gives my school a black eye in the media because the media is reporting Bodger High School for the 4th day in a row on a emergency security lockdown and it just, they run with it. It never gets reported as a fake. Another security threat, and, we've had so many this year. Hey, Jeff Hammond, how are you? Well, I'm going with the old school. I was debating on putting all my ICEs out, and I decided I'll wait and do that again. Usually over the winter, like for my Christmas special, I get all my white trains out. But now I have enough white trains to fill up all my lanes. I've got 4 ICEs, an IC2, and an IC1. So that's 6 of them. But I've been toying doing that, just getting them all out. But really, if there was one theme today, it was mostly trains that haven't run in a while. So I got my Class 143 running. I've got, but then I keep running that 218. Oh my goodness, I love this 218. Sorry, Jeff Hammond, you too, huh? But, yeah, the thing is, now that I've officially filed my paperwork, all the, money stuff is starting to be settled. I'm still waiting for my severance package, but we have, I have 2 contract, or buyouts. There's my salary, because even though I'm retiring June 1st, I'm technically employed until the middle of August. I'm technically employed till the middle of August. And so the thing is, my school system, I'm retiring May 1st, or June 1st, I mean. Oh, I wish it were May 1st. I wish it were April 1st. But because I'm retiring June 1st, everything gets, they pay you off in June. They take all the pay they would give you through the rest of the fiscal year, and they give it to you as one lump sum. So that's your salary. But then I've earned bonuses over my career. Like, I have so many sick days, and they will buy the sick days back. Like, thanks for not using them. So they will pay me a nice sum of money for my sick days. Plus, I get a $2,000 bonus for announcing my retirement before December 1st of this past December. So I get a bonus for that. And then I get a $500 bonus for staying till the end of the year, the end of the academic year, which is May 31st. So, the problem is most of that money is going to come. I was hoping I would get some of that money before I went to the United Kingdom. And no, it'll be while I'm in the United Kingdom. Now, the one funny thing is I'm doing what we call double dipping. And that's because I'm retiring June 1st, I get my first retirement paycheck from my retirement system June 1st, even though I'm technically still being paid for June, July, and August from my employer. I start getting my retirement pay on June 1st. Oh, yes, it would, Jean Ricard. Trust me, it would be awesome to go out on April Fool's Day. It would be awesome. No, I'm not having a retirement party at the school. I don't know if Joyce is going to plan anything or if my family's going to plan anything or not. I've had an attitude my entire career, which is when I first started teaching 36 years ago, I walked into my first classroom unremarked, unannounced, nobody special, and I'm going to go out the same way. I've had a great career. I've won awards. If I wanted to pat myself on the back, I've won a lot of awards. I've accomplished a lot of things in my career, but I stopped being a gold star chaser years ago. There are teachers we call gold star chasers because they want everybody to see all the great things they're doing so they can rise up the ranks somehow, maybe go into administration or what have you. We call them gold star chasers. And I never planned on going into administration. I was never going to be a principal. I was never going to be a dean or a counselor. I was going to be a classroom teacher. Hey, George, nice to have you here. So my attitude is, my department, because I'm in charge of my department. Most of you know I teach German. I actually have a master's degree in English literature, but I teach German. And I've been teaching German for about 22 years. And I am head of my school's foreign language department. I am the chairman of the department. And it's been an honor. It's been great. There are headaches that come with being in charge of the department. But my department and a couple of teachers in my hallway, actually I think the whole school knows I'm retiring. But I'm rather antisocial at work. I don't go into all the teacher parties and all that. Hey, Digger, how are you? Nice to have you here, sir. No, I don't think there is a picture of me on my first day of teaching. There is one of Joyce, who started a few years after I did. I don't have that first picture. I know there's probably a couple of pictures of me from very early in my career. But yeah, it would be interesting. But in all honesty, give me a second, and if I can find it, I'll pull it up for you. Let me throw that over there. You guys have no idea what I'm doing, but just so I can look something up and it not block my screen here. Oh, that's not gonna let me do that now, huh? Okay, so anyhow, what I really need is to, okay, pictures, storm, Jason. Yeah, this won't take long at all. Here it is. All right, I think you guys are seeing this picture if you want to do the awe. But that's what I would have looked like my first day of teaching because I got married right after I started teaching. So that's what I look like. I think are you guys seeing that? But that is what I look like when I started teaching. Now I just got to bring this all up so I can read the chat. There it is. Hey, Randall Ellison. Hi. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, where is it? There we go. Can I get this organized, please? All right. So, yeah, that's working that way. Oh, would you stop? Every time I try to move something, it's acting up today. Hi. Joyce and I are going to be celebrating our 35th anniversary in a couple of months. We have been married 35 years. So let me get rid of that. So yeah, Joyce and I have been married 35 years. We've been together 39, well, almost 39. 38 and a half right now, but it'll be 39 later this year. We've been together 39, but we got married in 1987, June of 1987. But that's what I looked like when I started teaching. I had hair. The only thing is, I did have my goatee. I shaved the goatee off to get married. I don't know why I did, but I went down to a simple mustache for the wedding, and then I grew the beard back. Who is that with Joyce? I don't know, but if I ever find him, darn it. So, yeah, but that's just it. Joyce really hasn't aged much. I clearly have. Joyce hasn't. And the funny thing is, when you guys see Joyce come down here to join the live feed, she's just getting home from work. So she's got that work all day stress look. So you catch her earlier in the day or when she hasn't had to work and she's a bit relaxed. Yeah, she really hasn't aged. I see O-Gauge is here. Let me see, because I can do more with that. Oh, it didn't come up? Why not? Oh, it didn't come up. Okay. Or do I need to enlarge it? Okay. Now it didn't come up. So what's the best way to do it? So there's that. Now, is it this picture? No, it's this one. Why aren't you letting me do that, damn it? Okay, well, sorry about that. I wanted to show that to you as well and just call it good, but so, yeah, the funny thing is Joyce was on crutches up till the morning we got married. Joyce had injured her leg playing baseball. Joyce was an athlete. Joyce got injured. Somebody slid into her leg while playing baseball. And she was on crutches up until the day of the wedding, but she couldn't wear her heels. She had to wear her high top tennis shoes. That is great, Kiwi Dave. See, my parents made it to 54 years, almost 55, before my father died. And Joyce's parents went 55 or 56 years before her dad died. So we both come from families that went long. Joyce has an older sister that's been married 40 years. Another sister actually went 30-some years before she divorced. Her other sister's been married 37, 38 years. I forget how long Julie and Keith have been married. So on her side of the family, long marriage is standard. She's got a sister, her oldest sister's been married over 40 years. Her other sister had been married close to 35 years before she finally divorced. And then her other sister has been married, I'll have to ask Joyce when she gets home. I think it's close to 40 years. Her other sister, Julie, has been married close to 40 years. She wore them for a quick getaway. Well, Chris, it didn't work. She had to wear her basketball sneakers. That's an awesome story that they made 62 years. Joyce and I really hope that will last forever. And that's great. Look how many of you guys are talking about that. We could say it was a different generations or whatever, but, they say about 50% of marriages end in divorce. Well, that means about 50% don't. And when you think of all the people that have multiple marriages, marry and divorce multiple times, actually, most marriages don't end in divorce, which means they end in death, which is not a fun thought. But I want to get the stuff to the UK finalized. Stephen Price gave us the train information. We're waiting for the hotel information. And then I can start paying for everything. And then the dates are set. And now one thing Stephen Price shared with me is we can pick the date, but he's arranged that they're going to give me a meeting room at the York National Railway Museum, or is that what it's called? The NRM, National Railway Museum in York? So that we can have a big YouTube meet and greet at the York Railway Museum. So that's sort of he got that done for us. So Joyce and I are really excited about that. Yep. We married in June of '87, and I had already been teaching for a while. Joyce and I met in '83, married in '87. First kid was '88. '88 was our first kid. '92 and '95 were the next two. And that's all she wrote. We just keep doing our doing. So yeah, I was really excited because he's got connections, because Bear Lane Stephen Price is a travel agent, so he's pulled a few strings and gotten us some nice stuff. We got to find the name. He's got to send us the hotels and the numbers so we can book it, or he's got it reserved. He's got to give us the information so we can finish the booking and pay. April 26, 1980. All right, I was still in high school then. So let's see, where is it? Is it here? So these, and I'll actually type them in here. When are we in York? June 21, June 24. Okay. Hi, Lee of the catchphrase. So we are in York, and I just typed it over there, way over there, way over there. We are in York, June 21st to June 24th. So any one of those 4 days, 21st, well, June 21st we're arriving, so maybe 22nd, 23rd, or 24th. We can do the meet and greet any of those days. We'll just see what works for everybody. So that's when we're in York. Oh, your ears were burning. We were just talking about some of the cool stuff you did. The meet, like the bid at York Model Railway Museum. So, because we have that's we have other people we're going to try to meet because we're staying in Liverpool. So while we're in Liverpool, we're going to go down and visit Jim Hovermotion in Manchester. If anybody else is in Manchester, but I'm going to visit Jim at Hovermotion at his house and hang out at his layout. When we're in Liverpool, we want to hook up and see Lee and Jackie at their place, and anybody else who's in the Liverpool area. We're going to go up to Stirling and Edinburgh, and if Chris is awake, we'll wake him up if he's up to a visit from us. Speaking of which, Chris, has there been good news with Shirley? I haven't been in your live streams, and I just have not had the time to watch the replays because you live stream while I'm at work, and sometimes I either can catch a bit on lunch, but it hasn't been this semester. I haven't been able to do that, and sometimes I'll just watch it on replay, but not a lot of time. In fact, I haven't been on YouTube the last 2 days. If you guys have posted stuff and go, Anthony hasn't commented yet, I have not been on YouTube the last couple of days. When am I in London? I arrive in London June 2nd. So let me pop these dates down here for you. Doobie-doop. Well, let's do it this way. I'm in London twice. See, Joyce and I, when we travel, we like to fly into a main hub. Like when we go to Germany, we will fly into Frankfurt, but then we'll stay a couple of days in Frankfurt to get over the jet lag. Just hang around Frankfurt, get over the jet lag, and then get on our long distance trains and go to all our places. And then we'll come back to that hub right before we leave. So we could just, again, get ourselves ready. We're not trying to catch some long distance train. We're just hop on the subway, hop on the taxi, and get to the airport. So, yeah, that's London is the one worry because London's so expensive. And based on all the stereotypes I'm getting from watching YouTube is that London's not friendly. I've heard London's not friendly. There's this video. It was from one of the UK comedy bits where a guy from Liverpool gets arrested because he smiled and said hello to people, and the people of London were freaking out and had him arrested. Yes, I will be in Scotland. I will be in Scotland. So this is the official. What am I doing? Edinburgh, June 17 to 20. So that's our only time in Scotland. And we've got two things on the itinerary for Scotland. We want to go visit Chris if he's up to having us. And we're gonna we want to go visit Stirling Castle and Stirling Battlefield, which can be done in a morning. Impersonal rather than unfriendly. Okay, that's a good way to put it. I just watch all these videos, and like I said, it was funny. This one bit about a guy from Manchester or Liverpool got arrested, and he has to read a statement. I am sorry, I did not mean to cause anyone harm. So, I mean, again, if somebody wants to meet us up at Stirling Castle, we'll tell you what day we'll be there. Because I still plan to try to do live streams while we're in the UK. I plan on doing my Friday live streams. I won't be running my trains. Be a little hard to do. I'm sure Heath will say, wait, I can set that up for you. But no, I'm not going to try to run OBS here and have my trains going while I'm over there. But, some kind of maybe just meet and greet with people. So my various live streams, I think, would be the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th. So the 24th would be our last night in York. Because on those dates, the first of the dates is the day we arrive, and then the second one is our last full day there. We leave that place the next morning. So, like, if it says June 17th to 20th, we're arriving on the 17th, hopefully early in the morning, or, early afternoon or late morning. And then we leave, where it says, like Edinburgh on the 20th, we're leaving Edinburgh the morning of the 21st. But I've just signed up for all the British railways, their different apps, and they're already offering me discounts. And under advisement, Stephen Price says to wait a certain number of dates before we actually want to travel. He says the prices actually come down. See, in Germany, the prices, you can book your tickets, your high-speed train tickets 6 months in advance. And the way Germany does it is they have 70% off, 60% off, 50% off, 40% off, 30% off, 20% off, 10% off. And they have so many tickets at each price. So the earlier you buy, you got a better chance of getting the bigger percentage off. So when I would do my trips to Germany with my students, or even with Joyce, I'm buying all my tickets in January because we know we're traveling in June. So we get the credit card out, we start buying the train tickets so we get the cheapest you're going to get it. Now, the only benefit is because I was a member of Deutsche Bahn, I have an account with Deutsche Bahn, is that I do get, even with buying my tickets early, I get options of upgrades. For example, Joyce and I never ride first class, but every now and then they'll say, hey, we got an offer, this train for 10 euros each, we can bump you up to first class. Cool, because normally it would have been 30 euros each extra for first class, or 40, 50 euros each extra for first class. So for 10 euros, we'll say, yeah, why not? Hey, Ray is here. Ray, did the bowling get sorted out? Well, that is an idea. I could bring my tools and help a bit. I like repair. This whole house I've remodeled myself. The only thing I don't touch is plumbing that needs sweating. I won't touch plumbing that needs sweating. And I won't touch gas lines at all, but every room in this house has been remodeled. Mostly gut jobs where I tear it down to the walls and put new drywall and everything in. Yeah, hey XMG, nice to see you. I didn't see you come in. Nice to have you here. It's yeah, big cities can be, but usually you can find a neighborhood or a local place where it's not. That's a argument I had with Heath once, because I've been to New York a couple of times and I hate the city of New York. And if Heath is out there listening, although I don't know, I do not like New York. And I found the people there unfriendly. I don't like the New York attitude. And of course, I'm a tourist, I'm an outsider, and maybe that's part of it. But, New Yorkers seem to think if you're not from New York, you haven't discovered running water and flushing toilets yet, that we crap in our hands and throw it in a box, which offends me. It's like, we are civilized where we live too. No, we don't have the Metropolitan Opera, but we got a good opera. We've got a top-ranked art museum. No, we don't have all of what New York has, but we've got a nice culture here. Without the murder, without the murders, the crimes, the crammed streets and traffic jams and all that stuff. Oh, 16-hour workday. I've had those. I know people don't think in teaching, although even in teaching we can have 16, 20-hour workdays. Because you don't just teach and go home. You get up in the morning, you prepare, you get all your stuff together, and you go through it all and grade, and then you teach, and then you come home and you grade and grade and grade and grade, and then you prepare, and then it's bedtime, and then you start the cycle all over. But I was an asbestos remover as a summer job for years as a teacher. Security guard, asbestos remover, and we had long days. Hey, did I see Kyle is here? I've missed a few people. And I should probably be reading more. I'm yakking and babbling and... Yeah, I know, and you're doing a great job. Joyce and I are nervous Nellies because we have never put it in somebody else's hands before, Stephen, and we're just worried about paying. We got to pay, we want to pay. Joyce is used to me having everything done now. And I'm used to doing everything. So having somebody else booking my hotels for me, and I appreciate it because Germany, I know. The UK, I don't know. I mean, I know the geography. I know where all the cities are. But Germany, I've known inside and out since I was a kid. I know where everything is, and I learned very quickly how to travel around Germany my first couple of trips to Germany. The UK is a totally new experience. And you speak the same language, but differently. At least in German, it's a totally different language. Well, like Joyce and I, we are, I offend some of my American friends here, but I got to tell you, when Joyce and I have traveled in Europe, Americans can be real jerks in other countries. We act so privileged, spoiled, entitled. When you go to Germany, you are guaranteed to see at least one place where an American's yelling, "Hey, why doesn't anybody here speak English?" Or, "What the heck's this store closing at 6 o'clock for? In America, we keep them open until midnight." You just see that all the time. And so Joyce and I are very quiet and careful travelers. And we try very hard to just be the quiet little couple over there, and we do our things, and we try to learn the customs. You know, how do people act here? What is considered rude and what is considered polite? What's my favorite Scottish word? Oh my goodness, Andrew, my favorite Scottish word. See, I don't really know true Pictish Celt or any of that. I mean, all I know is the stereotypes you see in the movie. If you want to know the truth, it's oh. That little exclamation at the beginning of the sentence. Oh, you silly man, you. Oh, you. That's my favorite one. It's more just the true brogue, the true Scottish or Irish brogue. Not so much a favorite word, just the brogue, especially when you get the really thick. And I know there's different accents, whether it's the stereotype of the Highlander or what I got taught when I was getting my degree in linguistics, the Pictish Celtic accent. But, you know, sort of that stereotype. Oh! And, you know, I say, you know, I'm an American. We grew up saying Edinburgh instead of Edinburgh. But it's not my fault you got GH in the end and don't pronounce it. Don't put the damn letters there if you're not going to use them. That's one of the first things we did when we became independent. We took out all those stupid U's you guys in the UK use. Humor. H-U-M-O-U-R? What's the U for? You already got one U. Humor. O, or. You don't need the extra U. Colour, C-O-L-O-U-R. For a country that spent centuries fighting the French, you love to keep their extra letters and crazy crap in your language. We got rid of it. So that's the thing. I grew up in a very ethnically mixed neighborhood. The librarian at my elementary school was from Scotland, and she had that very thick Scottish accent, but she was a Liverpool soccer fan. So I assume she was, you know, from that Ayrshire area of Scotland maybe, but she was a huge Liverpool fan. And she got me into Liverpool when I was like 7 years old. But I loved her accent. Mrs. McRady. And she lived in one of the better houses in my neighborhood. Well, across the street and up a couple of roads. But she lived in the neighborhood. See, my neighborhood was very easily divided. There was a road called Hill Avenue. And if you lived just on the southern side of Hill Avenue, that was the bad neighborhood. That was the drug dealers and everything else. But right across the street was a middle class neighborhood. Literally just across the street, it started middle class. And you had slightly or a lot better people there. And it was just, originally it was just a 2-lane road, but literally south of it was a new housing development of low-income housing for low working class, poor people. And across the street was an older neighborhood of more established upper working class, middle class roots. And she was a widower and she lived in the neighborhood. But we had people from all over the world. We had Arabic, Lebanese, old Germans. I had a lot of old Germans in my family from Africa. And I just loved accents. Asian, different Asians. And I just loved accents. Most of the kids in my neighborhood made fun of anybody with an accent. You know, just, I mean, racism, I guess, or stereotyping, whatever. You know, kids would walk up to a Chinese kid and say, hey man, talk some of that I Ching Chong stuff.
and just do it, which I always hated. I just wanted to hear people talk in their language, which is why I got a degree in linguistics. I love language and how it develops, how it grows, how it changes, and that got me my degree in linguistics. Yeah, and I know, it was the French influence, and God, you guys, for a couple hundred years, even up to the Lionhearted, Richard the Lionhearted, 200 years after William the Conqueror, you were still, was it Henry II? When did French really kind of slip out of the royal family and it become a more Anglo-Saxon English dialect with the kings, where French became their primary, or French was no longer their primary language? Was that around Henry IV? Because even Henry IV had strong French ties. Henry V was half French. Henry VI was half French, wasn't he? And you got to remember, when we're outsiders, like an American, we have the Dick Van Dyke stereotype bad English Cockney accent, but I grew up with Monty Python making fun of some of the different regional dialects of the UK. But I couldn't sit down and do them. I mean, I couldn't tell a Chelsea accent from, some other, Staffordshire accent. I couldn't tell those. I wouldn't know which one's Chelsea, which one's Staffordshire, or what have you. I mean, London's got how many accents? If I remember correctly, there are 23 distinct accents just in London. Hey, Lindy, how are you? Kyan is here. Hi, Kyan. Opa loves you. How are you, little man? After seeing you almost every day last week, haven't seen you since Sunday. So let's go to some of the big shots for a bit here. Always look on the bright side of life. Oh, God, I can't whistle. My lips are so dry. For life is quite absurd, and death's the final word. You must always face the curtain with a bow. Forget about your sin, give the audience a grin. Enjoy it, it's your last chance anyhow. Life's a piece of shit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and death's a joke, it's true. You'll see it all as a show, keep 'em laughing as you go. Just remember the last laugh is on you. Always look on the bright side of life. But, and Stephen, yeah, and you would know better than I, but even Liverpool has slightly different accents. Again, and in the UK, there's also those, the class accents. You can listen to the four Beatles, and they're all Liverpoolians, but they have slightly different accents. Ringo's accent is quite different than John's, which is quite different than George's, which is George and Paul have fairly similar accents, although Paul's is a little bit higher and in the back, and George is a little bit more in the front. Nope. I got things to do here. No Novi train show. I did a Toledo train show, and then I might go to the next one in okay, where am I at? Nope, not there. Okay, what am I trying to put up here? I need that, and I wanted to move cameras. Let's go to the 11 lane a bit. Okay, nobody's there. Did I see Artie is here? Hello, Artie. How are you? But that's the thing with doing accents. Not only do you have to listen to how vowels pronounce. You start with the vowels, and then you focus on the consonants. You have to listen to how every accent pronounces the vowels. And then the consonants, and then do they stress end syllables? Do they soften end syllables? And then, when you've listened to all that, you have to decide where is that accent in the vocalization area. Because to vocalize, you use, now obviously vocal cords are important, but we talk about 4 different body parts. The vocal cords are just the access point. You use your lungs, your lips, your teeth, and your tongue to form sounds. And where you put things in conjunction with those 4 body parts. Do you put things at the back of the tongue and in the upper part of the mouth? Do you put it to the front of the mouth, lower, So like George, when you do George Harrison, his voice is always down here a bit more. It's down about here. And Paul's was up here. And I'm not doing it great because I'm not working on them. It takes me a little while to warm up to it. But Paul's is more in the upper back, and George is more down here. But John's was very nasally, and so was Ringo's. Well, Ringo had that big nose, but John's was more to the front of the mouth and in the nose, and Ringo's was back of the throat up into the nose. Peace and love, peace and love. I'm just a drummer. I've got a hole in my pocket. And so literally, even though they're all from Liverpool, their voices are all in different parts of your vocal area. They're one's front low, one's front back, front low, one's back low, one's back high, one's front high. Strawberry Fields Forever, one of my all-time favorite songs. Day in the Life and Strawberry Fields Forever. Yeah, vowels and incontinence. Incontinent vowels there, Ray. Incontinent vowels. Those are the vowels you just keep running with. So now you're going to start paying attention to it. And like to a lot of you Americans. Now, most of you that are not Americans, you can usually tell like a northern accent from a southern accent. But most foreigners can't distinguish a Texan accent from a Tennessee or Georgian accent unless they've spent time over here. I grew up, my mom was born in Wyoming, grew up in Tennessee, but she had a very distinctive Tennessee accent, Eastern Tennessee. And I can distinguish between Georgian Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee, Western Tennessee, Southern Ohio, Kentuckian. And I try to use those. For example, Mayor Sumbish is a Kentucky accent. He's a Central Kentucky accent. And of course, you never hear your own accent. You don't have an accent, everybody else does. I've got a degree in linguistics. I speak what is called Mid-East Coastal American English. That is the dialect, the accent I speak. I speak Mid-East Coastal American English. Ray does not. Ray speaks Central Coastal American English if he's born and raised in that area of Maryland that he lives in, if he's from around that region. But then once you get up into Philadelphia, you have a whole Philadelphia accent all by itself. And then you get into Central Coastal English, Southern Coastal English, the famous North New England accent, which is officially Northeast Coastal. I am Mid-East Coastal English, which is descended from Northeast Coastal English, but also mixed with Coastal English. Yeah, Okies from Oklahoma definitely got a twang. Yep. Yeah, I mean, even Ohio, for example, most people that have been to America know there's a split in Missouri. Half the state says Missouri, the other half says Missouri, and there's two different accents. Ohio's the same way. You're Ohio in the north, you're Ohio in the south. And people in southern Ohio speak a southern accent. I've got cousins that lived in Dayton, Ohio, and you would think they were from Kentucky because they have the same basic accent. But once you get into the city and you get the cosmopolitan people, they don't have that country accent. They have more of the standardized accent. Oh yeah, absolutely. Ohio has there's a Cleveland accent. We even have an accent in Toledo. I am known for, or a lot of people in Toledo have what we call the Toledo A. You know, a lot of people in this part, Detroit, Toledo, and west of Cleveland, we pronounce A's like the way the first letter of my name is pronounced, Anthony. We say the A all the time. Yeah. See, I've talked about before on live streams when we talk about music, Day in the Life is the greatest composition, and I know that's argument time, but Day in the Life is one of the greatest compositions in pop music of the last 100 years. It is one of the most perfectly choreographed and orchestrated songs. When you take what the song is about, the lyrics of the song, and how the music is built, it is one of the most beautifully, if not, and in pop music, rock and roll history, it is the best. And I know Stairway to Heaven, and Kashmir. I don't know what other rock groups you could talk about perfectly orchestrated songs. I mean, there's great songs, okay? I'm not saying it's the greatest rock and roll song of all time, although I could make that argument too. But musically speaking, it is the greatest composition in rock and roll history in terms of the meaning of the song, how the music helps create and sell that meaning. It's just beautiful. The song is about how the complexity of life drives us to wish, how life gets more and more complex, and you wish for that childhood time. Let me take you down to Strawberry Fields. Nothing is real, nothing to get hung about. That's Strawberry Fields. Day in the Life. But again, is about the complexity of life and how things feel as you get older. You're losing control. And it starts with a simple piano. Doon, 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 doon. And then slowly it layers, each measure layers one more instrument, another layer of complexity. You start with the piano, then you add a guitar, then you add a second guitar, then you eventually add a bit of a tambourine tap, and then you add the drums. So, a song that is about how life gets more and more complicated and more confusing and out of control starts with one instrument and slowly adds another instrument through each stanza, through each measure, until you get to the famous cacophony of a sound. You know, which spirals out of control. So it's just beautifully sculpted that way. It's perfect. And, you know, a lot of people bash on Ringo and like to make fun that he's a horrible drummer. Yet all the great drummers in rock and roll say Ringo was the man. And Ringo probably does the greatest simplistic drumming on Day in the Life. Because his drumming, go listen to his drumming on Day in the Life. If you've never listened to Ringo's drumming on Day in the Life, the drums are supposed to keep rhythm. Life is a rhythm. Ringo maintains the rhythm without ever playing the same beat twice in the song. Doom doom da doom da doom da doom 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 da doom da doom da doom da doom. He plays a different measure, a different beat, a different speed, and yet maintains the beat underneath it all. His drumming is amazing. And that was just him creating it on the spot. I read the news today, oh boy. Doom, doom, da-doom, 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 da-doom. But his drum beats on each measure get more involved. So it truly is brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. And that's why I say, you think of all the great orchestrated songs, some of the things Styx did, Yes, Genesis in the Peter Gabriel era. There's some great orchestrated songs. Led Zeppelin did a couple of them. Kashmir and Stairway to Heaven are beautifully orchestrated songs. But nothing touches A Day in the Life. So there. Yeah, Tom, a lot of people say that. Paul was probably the best guitarist in the Beatles. Forget George Harrison, who is a great guitarist. Paul was a great guitarist. And Paul never gets credit for being one of the great bass guitarists of all time. Now, I will put John Entwistle from The Who as the greatest bass guitarist of all time in rock and roll. John Entwistle. You could not ever convince me anybody's better than John Entwistle. But Paul McCartney is right up there. And even John Entwistle said that Paul McCartney played bass differently than anybody else he saw bass, which made him really think about how he played bass. Because Paul started as a guitarist and took up bass right before the Beatles became big. And he played bass. If you watch, most bass players play like this. You know, they do this and they kind of pluck upwards. Paul played bass like a guitar, which gave his bass playing a very intricate sound. The Beatles never get credit enough for their musical abilities. Forget how creative they were and how constantly evolving they were and all the things they introduced musically. They never get enough credit for just how musically gifted they were. They really were. Whereas I got to catch the rest of that. You guys, some of you are talking accents that I got going. Leave that to Ricky Gervais. That's a good one. Let me see. Where's my... And you're on a fourth generation, you know your drummers. But the thing you have to understand is, even in drummers, John Bonham is one of the all-time greats. Absolutely. But they played different styles of music, so they were required to do different things. But if you've missed it, Ringo has done impressions of John Bonham drumming, and he's awesome. But I don't know if John Bonham could have done what Ringo did on a lot of songs. Because that's always the other thing. You know, they were doing different things. John Bonham, one of the all-time great drummers. But was John Bonham Buddy Rich? Was John Bonham Gene Krupa? You know, you're doing different things, so you're required to do different things. So it's always hard to say who's the best drummer or who's the best this, because depending on the type of music you play, you're asked to do different things. So I think it's unfair to say Ringo couldn't do what John Bonham did, because you can go find YouTube videos where Ringo plays John Bonham. And he does John Bonham. You know, but again, it goes back to something I was talking about. All the greats, all the talent in the world, still doesn't account for being in the right place at the right time. Sometimes, there's even horrible talents that become rich and famous because they were in the right place at the right time. But sometimes luck is, you're just, whatever it was, the stars aligned for you. And there are some great musicians and bands that never made it big. Garage bands that never made it big. And there are bands that are garbage that are some of the all-time greatest selling. How did it happen? Okay, popularity, luck of the draw, hitting the right place at the right time. Does anybody think the Sex Pistols were great musicians? Sid Vicious couldn't even play bass. Paul Jones and those guys, Johnny Rotten, Johnny Lydon, yeah, they could play instruments. But you can't discount their influence they had. So it's always hard to say who was the best, because when I grew up, there was Randy Rhoads from Ozzy, Randy Rhoads was the greatest guitarist of all time, bar none. Randy Rhoads was the greatest. Well, okay, what about Alex Van Halen? What about Eric Clapton? How can you compare Eric Clapton, who is often considered one of the greatest guitarists of all time, to Eddie Van Halen or Randy Rhoads? They play such distinct and different styles of music. Having a band in music is worse than politics. No, I can talk music and we can all have fun arguing music. Politics, no. I have friends of different political persuasions than Joyce and me, and we can talk politics, but in general, no, because there's a certain point, because even our friends don't go, they're politically speaking, they may be on the other side of the aisle from us, but they're not way over there. And that's all we'll say about politics on that point. And yes, and we all use it too, Stefan. We all use it. Like I was just saying, that Day in the Life is the best orchestrated rock song. And you can't prove best, but we do use it. But when it comes to individual versus individual, yeah, it's hard to say best. You can't say best. It's like, my students ask me, Mr. Dodge, what's the best language to learn? There is no best language. You learn the one you want to learn. Just want to learn it. You want to learn a language? Want to learn it. What's the easiest language to learn? There isn't an easiest one to learn. If you want to learn it, it's not hard. No language is hard to learn if you want to learn it. Now, I look at Hungarian, sorry Artie, and I look at Finnish because they're from the same family of languages, the Finno-Ugric language family. And they have some very wild nomenclature for verb conjugation and noun conjugation. And if you don't know what noun conjugation is, because most of your languages don't do it. Latin did it a little, but Finnish and Hungarian go crazy with it. Basically, you spell the noun differently depending on whether it's the subject, the direct object, indirect object, genitive case, possessive case, blah, blah, blah. You spell the noun differently. Victor Borge was a great pianist. But I think my pianist is pretty cool too. That was a Matt Clarke joke needed to be done. You know, and we always have our personal favorites. I love the Beatles, but outside of Paul, neither John nor George had great voices. John had a doable voice. But if I could steal a rock and roll voice, if I could do, now of course most people immediately go to Freddie, and let's face it, Freddie could do what? How many octaves? 5 octaves? Something like that? Freddie was nuts. Freddie Mercury, one of the all-time greatest voices. I think we can all agree to that, whether you like Queen or not, or like Freddie Mercury or not. The dude had a voice beyond compare. But his is not the voice I would steal. I would want Roger Daltrey or Robert Plant. I would steal those voices in a heartbeat. Roger Daltrey or Roger Plant. Or Roger Plant? Robert Plant. Roger Daltrey, Robert Plant. Those are the two guys whose voices I would steal first. And then if I had to settle for Freddie Mercury, I would take that too. Oh, I got you now. Okay, Artie, I'm sorry I misunderstood what you were saying there. Yes, XMG, my other big love. Yes, Tolkien originally based the Elvish language on Finnish. Yes, he did. He didn't completely parrot it, but yes, he used Finnish as sort of a idea to conceptualize his Elvish language in. That is absolutely true. Because, yeah, that's my Beatles and then Lord of the Rings are my two biggest geeks along with now model trains. But I've got many years of Lord of the Rings study. I used to write for the Tolkien Society paper magazine. I used to write for the Tolkien Society of America. I've written articles about various aspects of Tolkien's works and so forth. I've communicated with the Tolkien family, and the happiest, saddest event, one of the happiest, saddest events in my life was I was invited to go to England in 1992 and sit in with Christopher Tolkien, the son, J.R.R. Tolkien's son that took over the books and the publishing stuff, and edited all of his later stuff. And I was invited to go sit with him and meet him, and I was all set. It would have been my first trip to the United Kingdom, but Joyce wound up being pregnant with Elizabeth, and Elizabeth was due right in the middle of that trip. It was to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Tolkien's birth. It was 1992, and it was a big celebration, and I was actually invited to go. And I actually exchanged communication with the Tolkien family to share some ideas and ask some questions, because I got to go up to Marquette University in Wisconsin and go through Tolkien's notebooks, because they were at the University of Marquette up there at the time. And I got to go up there years ago and go through all his stuff, his notes, his writings, and see firsthand stuff that you only saw in books through photographs. And it was so amazing to see all that stuff. I'm the Lord of the Trains. No, I'm not the Lord of the Trains. I'm more like the Sam Wise of the trains. Because Sam Wise is Old English meaning half smart. Yep, I messed up that trip. Joyce was pregnant, and Joyce was having a difficult labor, and yeah, that was the scary labor. So I could not leave Joyce with a newborn baby plus a 4-year-old and be gone for 3 weeks. So I canceled the trip. Tolkien, I love Tolkien. Now, there are some things about him I don't like. First of all, he was very anti-American. He did not like Americans. He was also a bit of a racist. And his writing style, I love for me personally. But when people say they don't like Tolkien, I can understand why. Because Tolkien can take a page to describe a blade of grass. Tolkien was very descriptive of his natural world, but then his main characters are very vague. Although he described his characters enough, which is why I hate the Peter Jackson movies. I'm an outsider, model train outsider. I'm also a Tolkien outsider, because I'm one of the few Tolkien people that hates the Peter Jackson movies, because he didn't even read the books. He claims he was a Tolkien fan and read the books, but he did nothing. Those books, the movies are so different. It's, and we have this argument, well, you can't make movies like the books. Well, yeah, you can. You really can. But he got the characters wrong, their motivations wrong, their interplay wrong, and very important key plot lines. He completely got them wrong. And it's not like, hey, he didn't put Tom Bombadil in the movie and I'm mad at him. No, I don't care if you put Tom Bombadil in, although Bombadil is kind of an important character, but he doesn't put Tom Bombadil in, so we don't have time, but then he adds 2 hours of stuff in the movies that's not even in the books. Don't say you don't have time to put this stuff from the book in when you add a bunch of stuff that is not in the books, where you just made it up and say, well, I want this to happen here. The second movie was bad. The third movie, Joyce had to sit on me because I was walking out of the theater 40 minutes in. And she's like, no, maybe it'll get better. And I wish I had walked out. And I've only seen the third movie once. It was so bad. The only thing good about the third movie, which I have seen more than once, was the charge of the Rohirrim. He at least did that in a way that I could look at it and go, yes, the charge of the Rohirrim at the Battle of Pelennor Fields, yes! But, oh my God, everything else. Like Frodo is taking the ring out and dropping it everywhere. That ring never comes out in the book. And Frodo won't take it out. But, oh, I'll take it out here. Oops, I dropped it. Oh, I'll take it out here. Oops, I'll drop it. And Tolkien would have, and here's a little snippet for anybody who cares, which is probably very few. When Peter Jackson first started making the movie, it was being released under J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. When the family, and I was still talking to members of the family at this time, this is 7 years later, it was 1999 when he started making the movies. When the family got the first couple of rough drafts and some of the first scenes, they said, get our dad's name off of it. This is not his work. Which is why it's now advertised as Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Because the family was so angered at what Peter Jackson did, they ordered him to get their dad's name off everything. Anything they could get their dad's name off, their grandfather's name off, they took it off. The Tolkien family, except for one member, hates the movies. And the one member was, yeah, well, I got $20 million to work here. Well, and killing off, and the whole point. This is the big thing that drives me crazy, XMG, and anybody else that wants to talk Lord of the Rings. The whole point of Lord of the Rings was the last 3 chapters, the Scouring of the Shire and the White Havens. The whole point of Lord of the Rings is that last chapter. Tolkien was a man who had fought in the trenches of World War I and seen best friends blown apart, injured himself in battle twice, and the concept that you go to war and come home but can never be the same again when you've seen the horrors of war is a major theme that some young guys who maybe only experienced it on the edge, maybe, but the guys that saw it at its most brutal part, and so Tolkien fails to get several key scenes, including the fact what most people don't understand is Frodo failed. Frodo failed, and Frodo knows he failed. Yes, the ring went in the fire, but the movie made him a hero where Gollum is dancing around and Frodo, last-ditch effort, pushes him off the cliff. That's not what happens in the book. Frodo fails. When Frodo gets to Mount Doom, he takes the ring. The ring beats Frodo, and the ring doesn't just beat you and you can suddenly be okay again. The ring conquered Frodo. Now, the destruction of the ring took away the ring's power, but Frodo spends the last 1.5 years of his life in Middle-earth unable to enjoy anything in life. The ring is gone. He's destroyed. The ring beat him, and he knows it beat him. And so that bit where they make him a hero at the end, that's just it. He's a hero because he got the ring there. He is a hero. He got the ring there, but the ring beat him in the end. And that's a key part that the family was very upset with that Jackson changed, along with the death of Saruman and removing the whole Scouring of the Shire. Hey, Simo, how are you? Well, I've made some incriminating videos in my life too, but that's a different story. Well, that's just it. The thing is, Artie, going back to a comment you said a little while ago, you can be Beatles and heavy metal. I listen to heavy metal, and I listen to Beatles. And the Beatles do some heavy metal. Everybody thinks of the Beatles as, I want to hold your hand, she loves you. Go listen to Helter Skelter. The Beatles can do heavy metal. In fact, the first chords of Helter Skelter, many would tell you, might be the birth of heavy metal. The Beatles could do it all. They just chose to do a certain style, but they experimented with many. Jimi Hendrix doesn't exist if the song I Feel Fine doesn't come out with the feedback. John Lennon did it as an accident, thought it was cool, put it on one song, and then said, okay, trick over. Other people said, damn, that's a cool sound, feedback. And 2 years later, Jimi Hendrix is doing his whole thing based on that sound. And another thing, going back to Tolkien, because see, I'll fly back and forth between topics. Going back to Tolkien is the death of Boromir. The movies try to make Boromir sympathetic. My father, my God. And they made the father a complete idiot. They really should have switched him around. Denethor is the more sympathetic character. Boromir is a complete tool in the books. Boromir's an asshole. But Boromir has to be an asshole because Boromir is what we call in literature a foil. A foil is a character that is the exact opposite of another character that might be in the same situation. Boromir is Aragorn's competition. Boromir's family has been ruling Gondor for 1,000 years. See, they don't bring that out in the book. Boromir's family have been ruling Gondor, but they didn't call themselves kings because there had been a civil war 1,000 years earlier over it. But the king's family line had been gone. Nobody knew there was a bloodline left. Because the movies never explained there were two kingdoms, north and south, blah, 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 all this crap. But Boromir expects to rule. And now here's Aragorn, some nobody out of the north who's coming in, and slowly Boromir's catching, wait a minute, this dude's of the royal bloodline. I'm planning on being the next ruler of Gondor, not him. Boromir has to die. He's competition. He's a foil. And he's everything Aragorn isn't. He's a jarhead, and I don't say that in the negative term or disparaging the Marines. He is a tank brain. He has no concept of diplomacy. He has no concept of anything other than, try to prove you're the mightiest man by beating everybody to death, where Aragorn has a smoothness. Aragorn's not an easy character to get along with, but Aragorn has royalty and nobility, the positive aspects of those. And Boromir is just a tank. Aragorn is supposed to be that, enlightened despot, and Boromir is just a tyrant. And they are competition. And in the book, in the movies, when Boromir dies, he looks up at Aragorn and says, I would have followed you. I would have gone with you. My brother, my lord, my captain, my king. No, in the books, when Boromir dies, Boromir refuses to acknowledge Aragorn. When Aragorn comes to Boromir as Boromir's dying, Boromir says, hey, go to my city and save my people. I tried to take the ring. I was wrong. I'm sorry that I tried to take the ring. But his last words are, go to my city and save my people. Not go to our city and save our people, or go to our city and save your people. No, his dying words are, go to my people and save my city. Even in his dying breath, he cannot acknowledge that Aragorn is the rightful king. He can't do it because literally, if Boromir survives and Aragorn becomes king, there's a civil war, because Boromir would go after Aragorn. No, I should be king. My father ruled and his father ruled for 1,000 years before. Your family was nobody in the woods. I should be ruling. So it was just, it's like they read the books and then said, nah. And as a published writer, I never like it when a guy making a movie, TV show, says, well, yeah, but I've got a different vision. The writer has a vision. And when a writer creates a work of art, you don't have the right to say, well, I can make it different. You have the ability because Hollywood lets you do it, but really you don't have the right. That would be like me taking a can of paint or a palette of paint and going to the Louvre Museum and deciding I don't like the way the Mona Lisa looks. I think she needs to look a little different, and start painting over it. That's exactly what Peter Jackson did. And we always excuse it. Well, movies can never be like the books. You can appreciate both. Well, I can't, When you take a movie, when you take a book, a big book, and it tells you, here's how things work, and here, you don't have the right to say, yeah, but I want to do it differently. I want to tell a different story with this book. You don't have that right. Just like I don't have the right to go repaint the Mona Lisa and say, well, I'm going to just paint over it. You could have moved this yourself. Is it there? No, not even close. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. There you are. There you are. Nope, and now I've lost you again. You're not helping me, There, good enough. All right, the little woman's here. Mona Lisa should have been blonde.
Hi, everybody.
So those are two things you can easily get me ranting about. The Lord of the Ring movies.
He's not wrong. It's true, Leslie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that drives me crazy. And not just
Don't
Hollywood.
resemble it.
You know, UK film studios. Now, it's one thing, you know, if the author, you know, like the James Bond movies, where Ian Fleming goes in and says, yeah, do it like that, that's fine, if the author's cool with it. But the Tolkien family wasn't.
Yeah, it usually is. I'm a little late.
Yeah, you are real late.
We have 2 copy machines at work in our building,
Yeah,
so I had to hike.
they're replacing them slowly.
So they say.
Right. You're getting all your hellos.
Yeah.
But your voice is sounding very muffled.
Oh,
Some of
okay.
my trains are running kind of loud. I don't even have the engines on, but they are definitely running the tracks
So
heavy.
I don't know if I catch up with anybody. I see Leslie and Artie
God, I just love this 218.
and Simo and I liked you better as a effing car guy, but and the White Walls and Andy.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, there's an animated movie Ralph Bakshi, the animator, made in the late 1970s, Lord of the Rings, which is actually closer to the book. It's still got some
animated.
things off with it, but
I am tired.
it's been a long week. It's been a long month. It's been a long year.
Yeah. Yeah, and just a lot. Just a lot. It's a lot. My bag's full. Aw, how nice, Lindy. Hi.
He just
Hi,
crushed the goldfish. Was he doing that tense up in like, Grandma?
So, hi, Tom. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you're coming through all right, but
see
I can't hear you from
nice
here.
to see the little guys
Sorry about that.
excited. I froze.
Oh, I love it when he gets excited. Oh, you froze? Oh, you hit the wrong thing or something.
I hit nothing.
Look at your head. There. Well, something froze all of a sudden stopped you a couple of minutes ago.
Anthony's a handful. Yeah.
2 handfuls. 2 handfuls. She's not even looking at me doing that.
No, I can see out of my peripheral vision.
Sure you can. You could have looked at me doing it right there.
No, that's got a delay.
Exactly.
So it takes a while for it
Which
to
is why I'm
come up.
distracting at you while while it comes up.
Yeah, your 2 hands. I know, I got it. That's good. Did you guys enjoy the Matt Clarke? I watch it at school, so I'm there, but silent.
How did you watch it? Oh, probably from your
I watch
TPS
it from
account.
yeah, I do.
Right, gotcha.
They can complain at me, but it's 3:30. Everybody's gone.
Oh, they won't even complain at you.
I know. Well, yeah. So, yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I liked
I've been trying
it.
to tell people Goliath is a perv.
Oh,
If you
come-
go back to his
He
all his
absolutely
appearances, even
is
at the
in-
Christmas special,
Yep,
he's a perv.
yep.
They sound like fun people to
They sound like fun people. Yeah.
They sound like fun people to me, Goliath. Point them out next time we're at the club.
Oh, shoot. The new rabbit was thumping to get my attention. Okay.
Had nothing too amazing
Yeah.
about it. I did enjoy writing because it was the first time in a couple of scenes where I could really write some pretty funny bawdy
Good,
stuff.
I'm glad. Yep, so he's getting the thing, and then he had the lecture. It was a good lecture for the young lad.
Well, I explained that I chopped an 11-minute scene down to 2 for that lecture.
You did, yeah. It was good.
But it would have been a whole 11-minute scene of no
Yeah,
comedy,
it would
just
have. So,
Matt
yeah.
Clarke lecturing.
He caught it. He got the heart of it, and
And then you got
but we love that Goliath said, "Just maybe you're a deuce."
when I read that scene to Joyce, when I read that line from Goliath to Joyce, or from Goliath to Smokey, I read it to Joyce. She folded over in her chair.
Yes, I thought that
Or
was.
maybe
pretty
you're
good.
just a douche, Smokey. And she looked at me like, wait, did Goliath just go? And I'm nodding at her going, yeah. And she just,
Is that what
she
she
was-
said? Yeah,
she was
I like,
cackling.
oh,
It was funny.
shoot.
I love that scene. Or maybe you're just a douche, Smokey.
Oh. Being kind of
Smokey
stupid
needs a
here,
reality
lad.
check.
Yeah. She got dumped on me over Christmas.
Oh, the new rabbit. Yeah, the new rabbit.
Oh, gotcha. Did you find her, or somebody dropped her off?
She came in on a flood. She was on the ark.
You
She
know,
fell
yeah,
off the
from
ark
where
and
you
swam to
are,
you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, really. She just floated by and you snagged her. Am I Scottish? No. There is no Scottish in me at all.
She's Irish, half German.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's O'Redden.
Yeah, but great. I think it's 4 or 5 greats came to America, and yeah, John O'Redden.
She's American.
And I sure am, because that was a long time ago. And he helped build the railroad in America. He was one of those stinking Irish.
He was one of those Irish that helped build the railroads.
Need not apply, that time.
Yep, and she still loves her corned beef and...
Boiled potatoes, absolutely.
Corned beef and boiled potatoes,
Yep.
the stereotype Irish meal here in America. So, I've got just a minuscule bit of Scottish in me, but it doesn't really count, because I'm really 3/4 German.
Oh, great. You were bunny sitting, and they stiffed you. Gotcha. That's funny.
I like bunnies, but Joyce won't dress as one. Say, you are a good sport.
Uh-huh.
That's that old George Carlin bit.
Scottish, well,
It's me,
Irish,
Jane.
okay.
Oh, yeah, Jane. How are you, Jane? Pregnant. Wait, we met about 6 to 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You said I was a real good sport. Oh, right, Jane, yeah. Jane, how are you, Jane? Pregnant. I'm thinking of jumping out the window. Say, you are a good sport.
Yeah.
Oh, you got all the Celts going there. Scottish, Welsh,
Yeah.
Irish.
Yeah, completely. Is that a viaduct or a bridge or something else? The top center left hand. I assume your bridge that goes to nowhere.
Well, let me give you the widescreen and you can see a little better. It is a subterranean station. Let me go to the village view. Village view. Why are you not working? There we go. So now you can, there if you look to the upper middle, that's what the other camera is showing. The other camera is that little camera just to the left looking down into it. And by the way, speaking of Lord of the Rings, you can see my 1,400 Lord of the Ring figurines for tabletop wargaming I still have, plus other Lord of the Ring based war games down there. Top of the morning to you.
Oh, well, okay, then you just kind of got them by default then. Our bad. We can't have them.
So, yeah, that is what it is. What it is, what it was, what it shall be. There goes that IC2. Hey, Colin, how are you? Nice to have you here.
Hi, Colin.
Now, genre card, I don't subscribe to that theory. Because technically you're German too. I know you're Dutch, but racially you're German. The Dutch are German. Nationality, you're German. Ethnically, you're Germanic. But I don't go into that. I don't think I'm superior because of my German heritage, but because I grew up with German relatives, that was my draw. I love the German language. I love the country of Germany. but I've loved every country I've been in. United States, Canada, Germany, Czech Republic, Austria.
Anthony likes people.
I like people, and I
Go
like
figure.
countries. I don't have a bias. I'm not my country's great, your country sucks. And I'm not your country's better, my country sucks. I'm not that way either.
Yep.
I just like people. I like the earth. I'm an earthling. That's what I am. I'm an earthling. I'm one of those, politics time. I'm a globalist. I'm an earthling.
Danish from Waikiki?
I'm not proud or ashamed of my German heritage. I love, if anything, the biggest thing I talk about is that little English heritage of mine, the Dodge family. That's my big heritage. That's the one I'm proud to be a Dodge, the Dodge cars, and the fact that technically I'm still owed land in Scotland that I'm coming to claim. No, we can't.
Sure we can't. Till you have to pay a bill. Imagine you have to get a lot imported.
Leslie, does it technically count as a viaduct? It is a subterranean hallway, and the tracks just go across it. So I don't think that it's even, I guess maybe it's a viaduct because duct is under. But,
would you like to visit another planet? I don't know that you would. Okay, right now,
if they open one up, now I have a horrible fear of heights, so get me on the rocket and the whole trip into space, and the fear of the space capsule blowing up might take some fun out of it. But yeah, if they said, hey, you can go to Mars, and we can guarantee you safely there and back, sure, why not? Jean Ricard, is there somebody I am in opposition to? There are
Besides you?
people, individuals. I'm not a misanthrope. If you remember Moliere's play, The Misanthrope, he liked individual people, but he hated mankind. I'm the opposite. I love mankind. There's individual people I don't like.
that is probably true, Artie. You get hit with 120 years of taxes. Yeah, never mind. We're Americans.
All right, great. Thank you, Stephen.
Okay.
Yeah, see, the problem is, Andrew, it's been so long since I studied my Celtic pronunciations. I forget how some of those letters are pronounced. Once I could Google up and say, oh yeah, double L is pronounced this way and the GW is pronounced that way, then yeah, I could pronounce it. I'm very good linguistically. That degree has to mean something.
Okay. Woohoo! All right, Steven, we'll see ya.
Yes, I was given, my ancestors
In a few
were given
days.
Scottish land from an English king, so I don't think the Scots are going to hand it over easily. That's why it's going to have to be done through stealth and trickery.
Indeed. I don't know.
And trust me, the German part of me goes, what do you mean stealth and trickery? We don't do stealth and trickery.
It just barge right in.
We just invade and take it. That's what we do. We're German.
Hey guys, I think a lot of you haven't hit the like button, and it'd be nice for you to hit the
only
like
19,
button.
but I never had a big crowd today.
You're up to 24. And you didn't have that many that long ago, so I'm sure we have some new people in here that could do it and make you feel a wee bit better.
So, yeah, it's
You know,
been...
I go into my sexy southern accent.
No, I don't like selfish people. I don't like...
No. Yeah.
I don't like greedy people.
That's true. You know, we have to say, even though we, don't talk politics here, we are political. So
We are very political.
we have people we would just as soon get run over by a tank. But yeah, we'll keep it nice here.
Can you reach it? What are you talking about, hit by a tank? I've lost all my best friends that way. Hit by a tank, and you'll say there are people you want to be hit by a tank. I've seen it. I don't want anybody hit by a tank. Well, okay, maybe a couple.
Yeah, maybe a few.
Maybe a couple.
Yeah, that's nice, the regulars. We appreciate you very much. As I say, I think I don't like really big live feeds. It's hard to...
Yeah,
hard to
Klaus died.
Klaus died.
Klaus died.
Oh, poor Klaus.
You know how Klaus died?
Hit by a tank?
No. Something he ate disagreed with him.
Should we say who he ate?
It might have been poisoning. It might have been lead or metal poisoning. He ate a tank.
He ate the tank. Yeah, hit the like button. We're only up to 21. You can do better than this.
Well, they want you to do your Daisy voice.
I was doing my Daisy voice.
It wasn't quite sounding Daisy-ish.
I probably don't. I don't know. That's terrible.
That's too...
That's bad.
That's
bad,
Dansy.
bad. I don't know that I have Daisy in me right now.
That was more Lil.
I know.
I don't know. You gotta say hit the like button, gentlemen.
Hit the like button, gentlemen.
See, there it came back.
That's my catchphrase, so I know how to do Daisy. But it's still not quite Daisy.
Thanks for the memories.
I think I need a nap before I do Daisy.
Now, see, that's the difference, Artie. If they want to fight and be nasty, I tend to go toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, Anthony thought of being a lawyer.
Andrew, there's nothing wrong with being proud to be
in
Scottish.
many-
I'm not saying don't be proud,
Oh, for sure.
but there's a difference between being proud to be Scottish and saying, Scots are the best and you suck and should die.
Right. Yeah, that's
It's
good.
fine. I don't, you know, I love my country. I love America. There's a lot of things wrong with America. There's a lot of idiots, especially lately in America. But I love America. I think, come on, we put man on the moon, but we stood on the shoulders of other giants. You know, we didn't get to the moon just by being Americans. You know, you had to have an Italian guy named Galileo. You had to have a Polish guy named Copernicus.
Oh. Can
You had to have all these people. You had to have some guy in ancient
you
Egypt
did.
staring up at the sky saying, we can build this. You know, we're all...
Simo asked if you can do an English accent.
Well, I was doing all 4 Beatle accents a little bit earlier, Simo. I mean, you know, the thing is, which one? I mean, I can do a bad Cockney accent. You know, I can do the Dick Van Dyke Cockney accent. Right, mate, I'll punch you right off the fucking cleaners. I'll take you to the fucking cleaners, mate. You know. You think I'm playing with you? You think I'm playing with you? No, I'll take you to fucking cleaners, mate. Oh, hush, Artie. Vi at cast do not go coochie. But see, not only can I do German accents, now I do my very outrageous fake Prussian accent, but I can do an actual Prussian accent in English and German. But I can do, when I speak German, I can speak and do different dialects of German too. I can do Bavarian, you just gotta really trill those R's. And instead of saying E, it's ye. You know, instead of grüß dich, it's grüß je. Well, I've been trying to educate those other Americans. 36 years, let's say 120 students a year, 100 to 120 students a year. So, somewhere between... Damn, woman!
Sorry.
I've tried to educate somewhere between
Oh, thank you, Midsummer.
4,000 and 500, 4,000 to 5,400 students over the last 30-some years. I've tried to educate. I have not succeeded in all cases. Wait, Simo, come on. Simo, you got to go all the way. I know a little German. His name is Heinz, and he's about 4'3".
Right.
Oh my God, Edward, how many dialects of German are there? Major dialects, there's at least 13. Regional dialects, 40, 50. Like, London, England has 23 distinct dialects. Just the city of London. Is it 23 or 13? Maybe somebody here knows.
You're appealing to, thank you. You're appealing to the linguist here.
There's 23 distinct dialects in England. There used to be a guy on the radio 40 years ago, and he could tell both in New York City and London where you were from, and even in some cases down to the street in London, based on, he would give you a bunch of words to pronounce and say, you're from this neighborhood in London.
Yeah, no, it's spring. I think that answers all of that.
Joyce has allergies. I am not the root cause
No,
of it.
he's not the root cause of my allergy. Yeah, he needs to clean these tracks. Oh, I know.
She was sneezing and congested before I met her.
That's true.
Her whole family allergies, and she passed it on to my kids. Bless you, wee cotton socks. Bless you, wee cotton socks.
Ty and munching on goldfish and watching the live stream.
Okay. Let's put this up large.
Okay, we gotta share them, Lindy. Bless you, eat golden socks.
This is my grandson right now watching Opa and Oma on TV.
Stuffing his
Or
face with
computer.
goldfish.
Yeah, he's intent on Opa and Oma.
He sure is. Well, you saw how well he sat through it last week.
Yeah, how he just sat here and watched the trains last week. Well, hello, Josh W56. I mean, some of the basic German dialects are Bavarian, Slavish, Frankish, Saxon, Prussian, Pomeranian, Plattdeutsch. Did I say Rhenish?
I don't think so.
Rhenish, Württembergisch,
Moin
Schleswig, Austrian.
Plattdeutsch?
I said Plattdeutsch. I know I said that
Moin
one.
moin. He is adorable. No, he wasn't a Seinfeld.
No, I'm not a Seinfeld fan. Never liked the show. Never found it very funny. Making sure I don't destroy it. They're not his trains yet, Artie.
Yeah, he's got a
And hopefully
while.
not for 20, 30 some years.
Yeah, but he's gonna grow up with these trains for sure.
Yeah, I liked early Jerry Seinfeld as a comedian, but by the time he got to his show, I did not like his show. It just does not appeal to me. I don't find it funny. There are some bits in it that were funny, humorous, but overall, no, I could never get into Seinfeld. You ever notice? Maybe it was just too New Yorker for me.
Could be.
All right, Greg, take care of yourself.
Hi, Greg.
We'll keep talking email-wise.
Okay.
All right, Simo, thank you for
See ya,
stepping
Simo.
in.
Yeah, we're getting late.
They're dropping off.
It's almost 6.
Yeah, it's almost 6. Do you have an idea for dinner?
No, but I want it.
I was thinking Pizza Hut again.
We can do that. See if Liz wants the fettuccine.
We have it a lot, but I've really grown to like that. Either that or we could get, just to do something different, we could get Papa John's with their super stuffed crust and see what that's like.
Nah, it's just a pizza.
Well, I know that's what it's called. It was a show about nothing, but you could talk about nothing and still be funny. I just never found it funny. And trust me, in the comedian world and all that, you take a lot of grief. How could you not find Seinfeld funny?
Oh, sure.
I didn't think Cheers was very funny either, the two big shows of the 80s into the 90s. I didn't think either show was very funny, and I definitely thought Frasier was just stupid. I hated Frasier. I didn't like the character.
Oh, that's what
Now,
she
you
said.
just finish off your kangaroo and wombat on your own.
41 dialects in the BBC. I think it's about that much.
41 in the BBC.
BBA? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for you, Artie. Just for you.
Okay, leftovers are good if you liked it the first time.
No, I just made a joke about that.
Gotcha.
And I've still got the camera on us after showing that picture.
Ah, right.
Oh, I forgot to turn off all those.
Cheers. Show your support for
Start
Anthony
that.
Dodge, the Model Train Outsider. I just clicked on the dollar sign.
Yeah, honey, donate some money.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Donate some money to me,
Well,
sweetheart.
when I watch his videos, I watch the commercials. I figure that's self-serving, and I just ignore them.
Joyce
you know.
almost clicked on the make a donation button.
Yeah, I was hovering over it,
Yeah,
and it's
Joyce,
like,
Joyce gives
support
me a
Anthony Dodge,
Joyce
the
to
Model
give me a
Train
dollar
Outsider.
gives me 70 cents. Yeah, that doesn't work.
No, I could just hand him a dollar.
That would work better. You got a dollar on you?
No.
I don't have money on me either. I'll give you a dollar.
I'll give you a kiss.
Can I get a kiss and a dollar?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Well, since you're in the way of giving things away here, can I have a... Oh, sorry. Soap was funny. Soap was hilarious. The first few years of Night Court were some of my
Soap
favorite.
was
WKRP in Cincinnati was one of the funniest shows, especially its first 3 years.
funny. Yeah.
Hi, Ewan.
Not a big fan of Tim the Tool Man Taylor.
Oh, yeah. But part of that, I liked him again when he came out as a comedian. And I actually didn't mind his show the first couple of years. The problem is we have soured on Tim Allen, the man.
Right.
He is a real scumbag. He treats people like dirt. He's got a huge ego. He's a racist. He's got a lot of things to not like about him.
Okay. John, was that aimed at me? I have an idea. I think I'll run it past Anthony, though. Hi,
She has to
Lehigh.
run past me.
I didn't think that was bad.
No, I was just agreeing. You have to run it past me. I'm just agreeing. You have to run it past me.
Okay.
Where's your feminism going? You have to run it past me. I'm expecting you to turn around and go, I can post what I want. I don't have to run shit past you.
Yeah, I'm working
And you
on
did it.
one,
You're like,
John.
okay, yeah, I know.
Well,
Wow.
yeah.
Hey,
I wish
Kieran.
that kind of
You're late.
tired.
Working,
You're
tired.
late. You're late. You're not late to a
Well,
live
he usually
feed.
apologizes.
You can come in whenever
Sorry,
you
I'm
want.
late. No, you.
I mean, we're not staying
Well,
long. Do you want me to go up and order that pizza? I'll talk to Liz.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yep. So.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll start wrapping up.
Okay.
I expected low numbers today.
Yep, so. Bye, everybody.
Joyce is leaving.
Cheers,
Say goodbye.
Kiss.
Say goodbye. Choosy. Yep, she doesn't hang around to say goodbye to everybody. She's like, I'm off and out. Eastbound and I'm loaded up and trucking. Whoops. And then I let it go forward and it does that. You darn thing. Are you going to stay there now? That'll work. That'll work. Hey, Damien. Didn't see you come in. Sorry about that. Hello, Damien. That was Joyce. She came late, left early. Gonna have to straighten that out. Wow, Randall. You did that whole trip and back while I was online. Yeah, Jill Taylor was cuter. No, you're not late. No, that's one of the things, Stefan, that Norwegian train I showed you. Now, if you can find the blue one, if you can find that blue Norwegian train, the A73 or whatever it was, in AC, and let me know where it's at, when I get my retirement buyout, I'm buying it. Ah, she's just Joyce, Edward. She's just Joyce. Because Roco makes 3-rail. Roco makes Märklin compatible stuff too. Any major release by Roco, they release in 3 versions. They release in a basic 2-rail, a deluxe 2-rail, and then a deluxe 3-rail. Their 3-rail is always all pimped out. Well, it's going to have to wait a couple of months yet. They'll have to wait a couple of months. But yeah, that's going to be my really crazy one. But there is a Finnish, one from Finland, a little high speed. I think it was a double-decker, but oh my God, it was a beautiful green train. And I watched a video of it flying through Finland. And wow, talk about a beautiful country. Oh my goodness, that was such a cool video just to watch this high-speed train flying through Finland. I mean, that is a bucket list trip for Joyce and me. Joyce and I want to do Scandinavia, which would include Finland. We want to hit Norway, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Finland, like all in one trip, like 1 week in each country. So maybe we'll do Germany again in 2023, and then looking way ahead, 2024, maybe we will do... we'll finally do that Scandinavia trip, because we want to see Norway, Denmark. We got to go to Denmark because we have to beat up Jean Ricard. We got to go to Denmark, and then we have to. We want to go into Norway, Sweden, and Finland. And obviously, there's more to see than 1 week would allow, but it would be the only time we have. But that is something I think I'll put together. We want to get back to Germany. We do want to get back to Germany, but we do want to do a Scandinavian trip. We'll have to fit Australia and the Outback in somewhere, Artie. We'll have to fit Australia in somehow. Because we have to come down and do kangaroo hunting. And wombat hunting. And wombat bowling. Where you're the pin. In my dreams. Well, it is a dream. It is a dream, Jean Ricard. We'll find you. We'll find you. I can't be the only person you piss off, Jean Ricard. Something tells me there are a few people in Denmark that will join me when that glorious day comes. With all love, seriously, we're just kidding. Maybe. Hey, Ian, how are you? I have no idea what Finland has. They just have a really cool high-speed train in green that goes cross-country. And somebody filmed their trip on it and also had it filmed while it was going. Well, I would figure they'd make an AC 3-rail version 2. That's why I said, if you see it in 3-rail, let me know. Okay, wait, what, hunting season or what? What's seasonal? I've gone on through 5 different jokes, now I'm not sure what's seasonal. Other than Joyce's allergies are seasonal. But it's that same, the Class 73, okay. Yeah, the NMJ top line. Because they make 3-rail. Because I'll get the red one. Because I can't decide which one I like better since you showed me the blue one. I've seen the red one, so that's the one I'm planning on. But blue, red, maybe I get both. It's already allergy season. That's why Joyce was sneezing so bad here. Kangaroo. Yeah, I thought it was. Kangaroo hunting. Well, I've got this guy. He's been asking for diplomatic immunity. Although, Artie owns a train that killed his brother and he's still upset about it, right? I'll get you son of a bitch, for killing my brother. But see, that's the thing. The UK, because the 00 market is so exclusively there, I've got a train that I can't figure out how I could make it. And even my one friend, nah, I can't do it. I've got this train. I've got the Beatles Eurostar that I want to make 3-rail to put on this layout. I've had it for almost 2 years, and it's run twice. Get a white one and paint it half and half. That would look too weird. Although it could look kind of cool. Red this way and blue going the other way. If old Shaky Hands McGee could hold a paintbrush anymore, I might do it. But man, just to repeat myself over and over, that 218, which just went around the corner, up in the corner, oh my God, do I love that train. That locomotive is, I've been running it backwards. You'll see it going up above here in a few seconds. Going in the background there. I turned it around. Last week it was running white end first, pulling the red cars. But today I set it up to run with the, so that the red line lined up with the inner city wagons. All right, cool. Thank you. That was quick. Stop. There we go. But see, I set it up this time so that the red line lines up perfectly with the red line going through all the IC cars. And besides, I thought it'd be cool to just let it run the Pico end first. See, Jean Ricard, this is why well, you'll see. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the UK trip to end, because while I'm in the UK, I'm getting a crap load of money. And when I'm coming back to the United States, I'm going a little train crazy. Pierre, Peter, how are you, sir? How nice to see you. Welcome in. Everybody, let me welcome you to Peter or Pierre, depending on whether you want to go English Canadian or French Canadian. He has a comedy site. It's an off-the-wall comedy site, so he comes from my comedy connections. I caught one of his videos, thought it was cool. He came and watched my stuff, and even though he's not into trains and I'm not French Canadian, we now watch each other's stuff. So awesome that you're here, Pierre. How awesome. Bonjour. Bienvenue. Je m'appelle Monsieur Antoine Doge. No, it wouldn't be compatible. It is great to have you. That is awesome. I was just getting ready to shut down and log off here because it's dinner time, but I'll hang a few more minutes. I just stopped this guy up above me. I stopped him because that is my new favorite locomotive. Not my favorite train, but definitely it's grown on me. I'm loving this 218. He is awesome. Anybody doing... Now, my friend Herb in Canada, he bought the Pico DC version. Or maybe he bought the AC version, but I think it was the Pico version. I got the American version. And oh my God, do I love it. It is an awesome, awesome, awesome train. But we've been talking Beatles and music and drummers and comedy and... Well, I am going to get another 218 genre card, but I really want the red one. And to be honest, I also would like the cream and green one, the Era 5 paint job that you still see in Germany and other countries. Well, if you can match them, George, if you can match them. Now, when you say, so does the money you are getting full scale or HO? HO scale. But no, I mean, Joyce hates it when I talk about money. All right? In case you're the one person who comes to my channel doesn't know, as of June 1st, I am retired from my job. I am working, technically, officially, I have to work until May 31st, but I probably won't even go those last 2 days, because what are they going to do, fire me? And I will get, the way my employer handles retirement is when, as of June 1st, I'm out of their system. I'm canned. My badges won't work on the machines. They won't let me in the doors anymore. It's gone. I retire June 1st. On June 2nd, nothing. My passwords will not work. Anything I've got saved on the computers will be erased and deleted. I'm out. And they will give me a giant severance package. And the severance package comes in 2 parts. Part 1 is my salary severance, which is, even though I'm technically employed by them through August, okay? Our fiscal year runs September 1st to August 31st, okay? Our fiscal year. So even though I'm retiring in June, I have technically already put my year in, because I worked the full academic year. So, so they will pay me my entire salary of June, July, August, 3-month salary. They will pay me on 1 day in June. They'll go straight to my bank account. And then they're done with me. So that's my salary buyout. That's a lot of money. That's 3 months salary. Plus, on June 1st, I start getting my retirement pay. So for 3 months, I'm double dipping. Because I'm getting my retirement pay June, July, August, although technically I've been paid for those 3 months through my program. It's one of the perks of my retirement system. It's a good retirement system normally. There are some shaky sides of it. But then I have a severance package on top of that. So I have a salary and then a severance package. I've earned bonuses. I have many, many sick days I've never used, and they buy them back as a way of saying thanks for not using them. Then I get, and that's a big chunk of change, all right? We're talking big. We're talking go out and put a down payment on a car big. Or no, we're talking go out and buy the whole freaking car and pay in cash big. But I don't know when I get that. Because for all the sick days I've earned, they pay me scale pay for that. It's a lot of money. And then I get a $2,000 bonus because I announced my retirement before December 1st, which is they want you, if you're gonna retire, they want you to announce it early in the year, the academic year, so they can find a replacement, that they have months to find a replacement for you. And then because I agreed to stay the whole academic year and not abandon my students, which I could have done 2 weeks ago, because technically I could have left March 10th, I think it was, and still it would have counted for my full year. So I could have quit teaching. I could have quit already. But by agreeing to stay till the end of the academic year, I get a bonus for that. And my, anyhow, sorry about that. I didn't get a chance to finish introducing Pierre here. Pierre does, it's all silent. It's all silent comedy. He doesn't speak. I don't want to call it miming, although he does mime stuff too, but he's not a professional mime. But he just does, and he's got some great stuff. Again, you can't say something's going to be everybody's cup of tea, but it's off-the-wall humor, which is what I love. I'm off the wall, he's off the wall, that's how we connected. My off-the-wall humor, his off-the-wall humor. They're different walls that we're off of, but we both acknowledge we're off the wall. So where mine is all voice and no acting, his is all acting and no voice. So we're like polar opposites. But it's good stuff. Check his channel out if you just want some laughs. But he's got more subscribers than me, so, you know. So I was an English and German teacher, although for the last 18 years it's been almost strictly, well, I also teach mythology. I teach a course called World Mythologies that I've taught for the last 11 years as well. But I teach German. I teach world mythologies. That's what I teach now. But for the first half of my career, I taught English and Introduction to Foreign Languages, which was a class where we taught you a survey of different languages and let you pick what foreign language you wanted to take when you were ready to move into foreign languages. It was kind of a cool class. But my linguistics degree got me that one. And so yeah, it was a I've enjoyed it. There have been downtimes in the career, massive pay cuts at one stage that We almost lost our house because Joyce and I took massive pay cuts because our state educational system was bankrupt and way out of it. Our city was bankrupt and we took massive pay cuts, and it hurt us. It hurt us bad. It hurt us for years. But we didn't starve and we didn't lose the house, so I guess I can't complain. When lots of people lose their houses, companies close and these people are thrown out on the street, Joyce and I have not suffered. We have never suffered. Yes, we feel teachers are low paid, but I live a lifestyle 5 times better than my father did. And that was my goal in life. My goal in life was to live better than how I grew up. And to live better than how my father grew up in the Depression. My father was a Depression baby. And he was he was Depression poor, dirt poor, growing up. And it never left him. And then he made some bad decisions in his life that always kept him poor. I grew up poor. But I didn't grow up greedy for cash. I grew up, cash is more important to me now than it was 30, 40 years ago. Joyce is much more capitalistic than I am. No, my father he was an electrician by trade, but he worked in factories. He was a journeyman electrician, but most of his life, I remember when he worked for a factory, a company called Romanoff, which is big here in the United States. He worked for them as an electrician when I was younger, and actually he made some money, but he worked in the factories. He got into an argument with one of his bosses at Romanoff and quit, and he spent the last 30-some years of his life working in factories. And he hated it. And he didn't make any money. And he was laid off, and then working, and then laid off, and then working. He then quit a job and was unemployed for a year at one time. And he did some jobs. He did illegal jobs. And the worst thing is, while you can look back at my father and say, hey, he tried to keep a roof over our head and food on the table. He regretted it. That was the problem with my father. My father never let you forget that some of the crap he was doing was your fault. The crap he was doing was your fault. My dad never let you forget that. I wouldn't have to be doing this if it weren't for all you kids. And Dad, you're the one who got Mom pregnant, okay? We didn't choose to be here. You chose to have us. All right, Leslie, thanks for stopping in. Take care. Hey, Philip Page, nice to see you. Well, that's just it. He didn't work as an electrician. Yes?
No, you didn't look at your phone.
No.
All right, no Bendy, Philip.
Why?
Well, they said no delivery, and then somewhere else it said the store was closed. So,
Damn them.
I don't know. So what's option B?
Somebody else's pizza? Or Steak Escape, or Marco. Get Marco subs. I know, nothing we pick now Liz is going to like. Well, she's 30 years old. We don't have to cater to her. Hey, Sparky, how are you? No, I mean, that's the problem. My dad had so many skills. There are 3 houses in the city of Toledo my father and his brother built themselves, from pouring the concrete to putting up the studs and framing to plumbing. I mean, they did it themselves. They didn't hire people. It wasn't friends. It was my dad and his brother built these houses themselves. I wish I knew half of what my dad knew about construction. And I know enough that I have remodeled this house, gutted down to the walls, plumbing and electrical. But my dad was an unhappy man, okay? How do you explain that? My dad was an angry, unhappy man. Yet he stayed married to my mom for 54 years. And yet they fought like cats and dogs a lot. And yet they stayed married. My dad was a man who was never happy in his life. There were things he wanted to do, he never got to do because he often made choices. Now again, my father wanted to play professional football. Now this is late 40s, 1950. My dad wanted to go to Ohio State football and then go to the pros. That was his dream. He wanted to be a professional football player when professional football players didn't make a dime. But he went to Korea instead. Things happened in Korea. He never went to college. And he worked as an electrician. But his passion was motorcycles and cars. My dad was 28 when he got married. My mom was 18. My dad was 10 years older than my mom. We call that robbing the cradle. And my mom, he met my mom because he worked for if you want to know my family's tragedy in one example, here it is. My dad's best friends, my dad worked for a guy, my grandfather Ritz, an old German. My dad's best friends, racing cars and motorcycles, were my mom's older brothers. My mom was the little girl that hung around and developed a crush on my dad. And my mom had issues, serious issues. And slowly but surely, my dad had that line, girlfriends are like oil. You change them every 3 months. But slowly, my dad and my mom, despite my dad being 26 at the time and she being 16, started dating on the slide. And then when my dad was 28 and she was 18, my dad went to my grandfather and said, "Sir, I've been working for you for a few years now. I want to let you know, for the last few months I've been dating your daughter, and we would like to get married." And my grandfather said to my dad, "How are you going to support my daughter?" And my dad said, "I work for you." And my grandpa said, "No, you don't." And he didn't go to the wedding. They got married in January of 59. Their first kid was born in December of 59. And my mom spent the next 10 years pregnant. My mom was pregnant from March of 1969, or March of 1959 to January of 1969. Almost nonstop. She had 11 pregnancies in a 10-year period. 6 full-term kids, a couple of half-term miscarriages, early miscarriages. It was not a happy household growing up, guys. And so one of my life goals was just to live happier, was just to be happier. And my dad tried to teach me stuff. Now, I learned how to fix cars. I learned how to do some basic electrical and some basic, like, drywalling. I could be a professional drywaller. You know, if I decided I wanted to pick up a job in retirement here, I'm pretty sure I could hook up with a construction company and walk in as a drywaller, and they would promote me to foreman, because I can drywall like a beast. And I'm a pretty darn good painter. This basement I just redid about 4 years ago. From gutted to the walls, floor to ceiling, everything. The lighting, everything in here. Genre card, I was 4th out of the 6 that lived. I had 3 sisters, and then I started 3 boys. My parents went girl, 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 miscarriage, miscarriage, me, miscarriage, a brother who died at a young age, like 6 to 8 months old, what nowadays they'd call sudden infant death syndrome. And then 2 more miscarriages, and then a brother. So my mom had 6 live babies, 5 that lived to adulthood. I was number 4. I was the oldest of the boys. I have 3 older sisters. And then I had 2 younger brothers, but one died young. And I have the younger brother, to whom I haven't talked to in 20 years because we don't get along. Hey, Lewis, how are you? But that was, but that was it. My dad hated his life. I can't tell you how many times in his anger and his cussing, which was often, my dad just said, why did I have this life? Why did it have to go there? Why? My dad was constantly, why is my life so bad? Why? But the thing is, he would turn to the kids. Why did I have to have so many damn kids? So, when you're a little kid, that impresses you. And the thing is, but my dad couldn't teach me. My dad couldn't teach me because my dad would be like, oh, okay, he's got to rewire part of the house. All right, get the tools and come here. We're going to do this. Okay, Dad. Now, I want you to watch what I do, and I want you to watch how we do it. Watch this now. Okay, Dad. And then he'd open it up, and then the cussing began. If you could think of the movie A Christmas Story about the dad cussing, but take the humor out of it. That was my dad. My dad would have to fix walls because he would get so mad he'd punch the wall and break the wall while he was trying to fix the electrical. And then he'd have to fix the drywall, which is why I got really good at drywall. I had to fix the drywall a lot. Well, maybe it's just when the split broke there. My brother and I, sometimes we got along, sometimes didn't, but yeah, it's been 20 years because I basically have divorced my entire family. I haven't talked to anybody in my family in 20 years. My side of the family. You install Duolingo. I'll give you credit. As a German teacher, Duolingo is one of the programs, the apps of teaching language that I would say go for it. Joyce's German has increased amazingly with Duolingo. My daughter's learning Korean on Duolingo, and I am impressed because I've seen my wife try Berlitz. I've seen her try Rosetta Stone. No, Duolingo, bam. So yeah, it was not a happy household growing up. I guess leave it at that. And some people have worse, I understand. And, I don't get into competitive, but literally my mom should have been institutionalized. If you want to understand my mom, go watch the stand-up comedian Christopher Titus talk about his mom. The stand-up comedian Christopher Titus, except his mom committed suicide, mine didn't. So, my mom's really the cause of almost all the problems, but my dad was happiest when he was riding his motorcycle, driving a good car, and every now and then, my dad would have a good day, but, for the most part, I only knew my dad as the grumpy man who slept on the couch, and when he was awake, he was not happy. And my dad and I had physical confrontations. And then I got married, and I had some kids. And normally you think that makes you appreciate your dad more. But I think it was the opposite. My dad and I suddenly, when I got married, and I think about the time I bought my first house, or bought this house really, my dad and I, all of a sudden it changed. All of a sudden, we got along. And there was this brief period in time where all of a sudden it was like a father and son bit. Because I would ask him for advice on fixing things in the house. And if he started getting mad, I was like, Dad, this is my house. Chill it. But we had a brief moment there. And then my mom had to fuck it up again. But we had a few years there where, it didn't make up for what we missed growing up, but it was nice to have had a few years where I actually could get along and talk to my dad man to man. It was kind of nice to do that because you couldn't talk to my dad. I was a straight A student in school, and my dad was like, don't think you're smarter than me. Dad, I don't think I'm smarter than you. I just got A's in school. Don't start thinking you know more than me. Okay, Dad, I'm sorry. Vaso and Brotbitte. Yeah, that'll get you far. Although German bread is really good. But that's a look into the psychiatry there. Might explain some of my humor and some of my attitude towards things. But that's just it. I grew up violently. Let's just leave it at that. I grew up violently, both in my neighborhood and in my household. It was violent. And I'm not a violent person per se, but I have a bad temper, and if I have to, I can fight you to the death. The smile can turn very quickly. Fortunately, Joyce has been just one of those people. Joyce is just one of those perfect interventions. I met Joyce when I was just turned 19, and I went from not knowing what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. Well, I had ideas of what I wanted, but deciding I needed to be focused, and that, you know, I needed to think about somebody besides what I'm going to do. I had to think about somebody else. I had to think about plans and futures and not being rash or crazy, although occasionally I'm rash. But that's what, but she was that chance meeting that, she was that little bit that really changes the course of life at the right time. We're going to get everybody passing there? Oh, almost. We almost got everybody there. Oh, that was a good session. Good session. But, you know, I don't want to be that guy, you know, that cries to the therapist, my father never told me he loved me. He didn't, but I'm not sure he did, so he didn't lie either. I just, you know, it inspired me. You know, you can be inspired positive or negative. It inspired me to make sure my kids were raised in a safe house, that they never saw their mom and dad fighting, that they never, their dad never, you know, I mean, you know, I laugh about it now. I even would incorporate it into some of my comedy. But some of the things my dad said to me and called me, my dad once called me a waste of 15 minutes. And I looked at him and said, you lasted that long? Bam! And so it was definitely one of those, it's just one of those things. You know, there were definitely good parts to my dad. I really wish life would have been fairer to him, or he would have been fairer to life, to really get to see those sides, because there were times he was a great guy. It just was very, very rare. And the things that angered him were so just, you didn't need to be angry about it. But, you know, some of it does get passed on. You know, some of you saw me post my video. You saw me post that video where I was upset about a couple of emails I got. And again, some of people misinterpreted what I was saying there. I didn't get hate emails. I didn't get mean emails. It was just people go, hey man, Matt Clarke isn't as fun. You know, why are you doing this? It really, it's boring. It's not, you know, it's not what we're used to. It's not as funny as it was. And along with some of the other things that are happening in Joyce's life with her brother and stuff like that, it just, and I was kind of uptight about it because, yeah, I'm uptight. I do, you know, I'm a performer. I had a book published about 20 years ago. I got a book published and it bombed. And that was a goal in life. I wanted to be a writer. And I achieved the ultimate for a writer. I got a book published, but then it bombed. And it bombed so badly that companies will not even entertain me when I send another book to them. They won't. They're just like, no. You know, or if I hadn't been published before, like, you know, somebody will say, change your name. But, you know, that was a major blow because I always wanted to be a writer. And I think I'm a good writer. But I didn't make it. So you're always leery about that when you're writing, when you're creating something, and people, you know, and you're like, I wonder if this is a little too long. Is this dragging a little bit? Is this a little too off? Then, and then a bunch of people come in and say, yeah, this is way off. Well, you go, okay, I was right. I'm not doing a good job. But, you know, I had to put it out there. And there's a couple of people that are usually here that aren't here. And I'm like, did they take that email or did they take that video I put up personally? Did they say that was aimed at me? And to be honest, it wasn't specifically aimed at anybody else. It was aimed at a couple of people who sent emails and a couple of people that aren't regulars on my channel that came in and left a couple of rude comments. But yeah, it's what it was. I just shared, you know, because sometimes I just got to get off my chest, and sometimes I have to put it out publicly, even if it makes me look like a douche. I sometimes have to just, you know, get it out of me, and then let the waves cool down, because it does me good. May not do anybody else good, but it does me good to just vent for a second, get it out of my system, and then I can go back to thinking about what I want to think of, because otherwise it sits back here and it gnaws at you. But yeah, I mean, I allow way too much insight into my life and stuff like that, I guess. But then again, my channel always was going to be a different channel. So anyhow, yes, I've been turning things off, and we're down to about 15 watching, but I've stayed on 30 minutes longer than I normally do. I got to start cutting these back and ending them by 6. I used to end them at 5:30, and now I'm going to 6:30 a lot. So on that note, it was great to have you. It was great. Yeah, the last couple of days I haven't been on YouTube. So if you haven't seen comments from me, it's been, I wasn't even intentionally taking a break. I just been busy with things. Joyce has been busy with things, and I sit down and I could grab my laptop and start watching YouTube, but it's like, no, I really want to go to bed. So anyhow, once again, I've said it before, I want to thank everybody who comes back after all the craziness and so forth. I hope you like the latest Matt Clarke. I've got the next one in the bag. It's going to be a little interesting too. I left you with a heck of a cliffhanger, and I'll just be honest with you. This cliffhanger doesn't get resolved next week. You got to wait 2 weeks for that cliffhanger to be resolved. But I think you'll enjoy how I resolve that cliffhanger. It's going to be a good one. So anyhow, to everybody out there, thanks for being a part of my bizarre little world. It was awesome for my buddy from Montreal, Canada, Pierre, to show up, Studio Terrible. If you want to laugh or see some more off-the-wall humor, check him out. The opposite of mine. I'm all voice jokes with no visual. He's all visual with no voice. So take a peek at that if you want to get a laugh off of the train world, because he's nothing to do with trains. He's my other side. He's that comedy side I hang out with. So, Auf Wiedersehen, Choo-Choos, and happy trains. Everybody, hope to see you again.